Welcome to We Connect. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. Our guest today is just passing through Chennai, and he's given of us his very valuable time today. We're delighted to welcome onto the program Stephen Lucier. Now, he is an executive director of the De Beers International Group of Companies, as well as the CEO of Forevermark. And anybody who likes diamonds, please keep watching us. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, it's a pleasure to be here.
Now, you've made a foray into India, into the market here, and now you finally have come into the south of the country. You're obviously cheered about the response, otherwise you wouldn't be here.
No, absolutely. You know, my association with India and diamonds goes back, quite a long way, almost 15 years when I came first. And then my mission was a bit simpler. We wanted to create the dream of diamonds for the people of India. And diamonds have a long history here, but always, very exclusive and almost the preserve of the Maharajas and Maharanis. But our dream was to bring diamonds to more people, and more people could enjoy the benefits. So I've been coming for a long time, but my first time in Chennai.
Right. Now, do you believe that diamonds, as you say, okay, it's catching on, etc., but do you believe that diamonds actually, the diamond actually lends itself to, being fashioned into Indian jewelry designs?
Do you know, I'm probably biased. I'm so passionate about diamonds, and I think that the magical thing about diamonds, which is why I think it's such a powerful emerging trend here in India, is the way in which they handle light. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nothing in the world that can create that sort of that fire and light and play between the facets. And what does that do? Well, it attracts the eye, and it means you can create jewelry in India that, to my eye, is the most sparkling, glittering, everything that diamond should be, because the jewelry here is spectacular relative to the sorts of jewelry we can sell in other countries around the world today.
Right. Is there any particular type of jewelry, in your opinion, that actually goes down best of all here in India, from your own experience? Yeah,
well, I find that there's sort of there's two markets, different from each other, but both growing. And there is the traditional, what I call traditional Indian jewelry. And I see more and more diamonds being used in those pieces, but particularly small diamonds, but in large numbers. Mm-hmm. And it creates this fantastic, almost field of magic and fire and sparkle that other gemstones simply can't do. And so we see diamonds moving into the traditional jewelry. At the same time, and part of my mission with Forevermark is to recognize that as the sort of jewelry trends that are more popular around the world, I would call them sort of international jewelry, which is a little bit simpler, a little bit cleaner. You can wear it more often, and as the new Indian woman emerges, the woman who's working, who's traveling around the world, she needs it also. Luckily for us, it's an also. Yeah. She needs a different type of jewelry as well for those different purposes, and that's where the sorts of diamonds that we use in Forevermark fit. Pieces that are a little bit simpler, with the diamond itself. Often the one diamond is the hero, and that diamond has to live up to what it should be for those pieces to be beautiful.
But Stephen, a very expensive hero really we're talking about here. Very expensive indeed.
Do you know, they are precious and they are extraordinarily rare things, diamonds, and they always have been. Now people all around the world want them. Years ago, maybe there was a small consumer group, but now whether it's people here in India or people in China, the Americans still want them, so there's a lot of demand for diamonds. And they are rare. The world produces less diamonds now than it did 5 years ago, and will produce less.
So as we go along, it'll be more and more difficult to get a good diamond. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the advantage is, I think diamonds will get rarer and will become more valuable as a result. And that's part of why with Forevermark we want to make sure that we can provide the ultimate assurance to a consumer who's buying a diamond that is, what they think it is. It is natural. It hasn't been treated. It's the quality that they believe it to be, and inherently it has it has the value. But the magic thing about diamonds I've always found is that, you know, almost regardless of the size or the amount of money it costs, that diamond, even a little one, is precious to the person who owns it. It still has in it all the dreams
there is something very
and
special.
emotions that go in them. So, you know, I've always said, well, you know, buy the best that you can afford, but love what you can afford as well, because the magic is in there, whether it's, you know, a tenth of a carat or whether it's 10 carats.
Absolutely. Now, you're already, your diamonds are already in China and in Hong Kong and in Japan. So do you see a growing interest in diamonds in Asia? Is that the direction that you would like to be going in even more?
Yes, well, you know, for years the world diamond market, when it comes to consumers, was largely dominated by the US on the one hand and Japan on the other. The last decade has been really the story of Asia. India's always had a big tradition for jewelry, but diamonds and the use of diamonds has been growing much faster in this market than any other in the world. India's been the fastest growing diamond market for the past 5 years. So, you know, Indians has a powerful future for the diamonds, and the other big opportunity obviously is China, that is also exploding in terms of new demand as people get really wealthy enough for the first time to buy into some of the treasures of the world. They look for diamonds.
But aren't we also talking here about just by the fact of the volumes of India and China? So therefore, there's there's a much bigger market. Is that one of the
well, you know,
points,
I think it's it's obviously that's important.
Yes, very
because
important,
there's a lot of potential buyers in both markets. But also, I think there's a sort of natural desire, different in both places, which is interesting. In China, you know, it's about acquiring for a single diamond as a symbol of marriage, much like, interestingly, we saw decades ago in America. And they cherish that one important purchase. They'll save for ages in order to be able to acquire that. And they cherish it for a couple of reasons. One is because it symbolizes emotion and love and romance in a powerful way to the outside world. And secondly, that it signals, you know, that they're able, as part of this new generation of Chinese, to afford to have these treasures of the world. In India, to me, it's a lot more, jewelry itself is much more important. So the design and the beauty that goes into it and the adornment of the wearer are far more important factors than we see in China.
Right.
So it's different, but both, you know, exciting in their own way.
Right. It's really quite exciting for me to be sitting here and talking to you about, diamonds. It's not every day that I have somebody who deals with diamonds on our program. We'll take a very short break and get right back with you here on WeConnect. So please don't go anywhere.